And Florence Villemino joins us now in the studio. Hi, Flo. And we'll start with Libération, which focuses on the former French leader, President... I'm going to get there, all right. It's early morning in Paris. The former President Nicolas Sakozy.
That's right. Former President Nicolas Sakozy. Now, it's just been about 2 weeks since he announced his political comeback. He created a lot of suspense. We knew he was going to come back. We didn't know when he was going to announce his comeback. He was hoping it was going to be this triumphant return to cheering crowds. But check out Libération, the left-leaning paper. They say it's not exactly what he was hoping for. Ça patine. Sarkozy is skidding here. His comeback hasn't quite been the flashy affair he was hoping for. It's actually been quite brutal for him. First of all, he's not receiving as much support as he had hoped for. Also, he's facing a very fierce challenge from his two main rivals, François Fillon and Alain Juppé. But most importantly, he's facing a massive political scandal that has the opposition UMP parties in its crosshairs, and that is, of course, the Big Malion scandal. This scandal centers around alleged fake invoices for Sarkozy's 2012 re-election campaign. Several UMP heavyweights, including aides close to Sarkozy, have been detained by police in connection with this scandal. One of the key questions is, did Sarkozy know about it? If he did, how much did he know about it? But Libération in its editorial says all this is terrible for Sarkozy, but the worst thing is that in all this brouhaha, the only people who are actually interested in what he has to say are people who are very close to him, so who already support him.
His militant. All right, let's take a look at Sarkozy's second political meeting, and that was held yesterday.
It was held yesterday. You can read about it in Le Figaro, which is the right-leaning paper. It's interesting to note, though, you have to turn all the way back to page 7. It's not front page news for Le Figaro, but here it is. Now, Le Figaro had an exclusive interview with Sarkozy in their magazine, Le Figaro magazine, this week. He talks about his plan to save France. Now, he would allow firms to scrap the 35-hour work week. He wants to cut taxes and shrink the country's bloated civil service. So very controversial measures he wants to put in place.
All right. Well, talking about taxes, Le Figaro focuses on growing exasperation by French taxpayers.
That's right. Now, that is what is front page news for Le Figaro. They talk about a tax revolt that is spreading. People are completely fed up with the French tax system. They have had enough, according to Le Figaro, and more they're expressing this exasperation physically. Across the country, there have been numerous acts of vandalism against tax collection centers. For instance, on Tuesday night, the tax office in Albertville, so in Savoie region, was set on fire. And Le Figaro says this is proof of a climate of defiance that's really spreading across the country.
All right, let's move on to the Christian paper La Croix, which has an exclusive interview with Prime Minister Manuel Valls.
That's right. You'd think that in this climate he'd have things to say about the economy or other challenges that France is facing, but no, he's talking about his views on PMA. PMA is procréation médicalement assistée. Basically, that translates as medically assisted reproduction. It's basically surrogacy, artificial insemination, etc. He says he's firmly opposed to all this for gay couples. He calls it intolerable, and he says he's very much opposed to it. Now, you've got to keep in mind the context here. La Croix, of course, is a Christian paper, and this paper is also opposed to medically assisted procreation. But more importantly, you've got to keep in mind the timing of this interview. This Sunday, La Manif pour tous is holding a massive rally across the country. You might remember La Manif pour tous. They held many rallies as France was debating whether or not to legalize gay marriage. And so this Sunday, they're going to hold a rally to defend family values and marriage, etc. So that's the current context. It's very political. A lot of parties are hoping to woo these demonstrators, especially on the right wing. So it's interesting that the Prime Minister is, well, entering this debate. It seems like he's trying to reassure these voters in this interview.
Absolutely, and we'll see how many people will turn up to this Manif pour tous on Sunday. Finally, a word on the Paris Motor Show, which kicked off for the press yesterday.
That's right. The French press is very excited about this motor show. Let's take a look at 20 minutes à fond la caisse. That could translate as pedal to the metal. 20 minutes reminds us that, well, young people are still very much attached to cars. According to a recent survey, 61% of 19 to 31-year-olds are hoping to buy a car in the next 5 years. The business paper Les Echos focuses on what car makers are doing for the environment. It says that PSA, so Peugeot and Renault, are focusing on clean cars and how to reduce CO2.
Interesting. All right. Maybe you'll get one of those soon, Flo. Thank you very much for that. That was the French press review with Florence Villeminot. All right. It's time now for Web News.